Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to this very fun episode in my crib. So very happy to have you guys in my kitchen today, my second favorite place on earth. First is my bed. No, it's probably not. Y'all know it's a gym, but I spend most of my day over here in the kitchen, so I'm just gonna bring you guys with me morning routine and also getting ready to travel. So I'm gonna meal prep food for the next 4 days. So I just wanted to walk you guys through what I do, how I cook my food. It's basically, I've been doing the meal prep thing for over 6 years now, and it's just part of my routine. I love to cook, and I can't get really like super creative with it, but I just make sure that when I cook or season or you know, the temperature of the meat and stuff just makes it very, very enjoyable for me. So I look forward to actually eat my boring chicken and rice or chicken and broccoli meal. So I'm gonna walk you guys with me, and yeah, it's now 9:17. I'm gonna start this right now. Before starting my day, so first thing that I normally do is just, I love that I'm in pajamas, by the way. I'm really like being raw with you guys right now. So, that coffee's from Whole Foods. I've been loving it. So what I do is I take egg whites from the white egg, and then my 2 whole egg, I'm gonna use the brown ones. Cage-free organic eggs. Just go like this. I remember when I used to stay at my parents' house, like I've been raised with, I couldn't waste, right? So she would actually go back into the container and take the yolk, and actually found recipe to use the yolk with it. So Mom, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be wasting those yolks. Sorry. And then 2 eggs. So basically I'm doing right now my morning pancake with some oats, and just to add volume and actually like vegetables and green, I love to add some spinach because it really doesn't taste anything. Some oats. So I'm doing 30 grams of oats. That's about 30 grams right here. I'm actually going to do some glutamine in there. So that's my tip and tricks. I'm trying to minimize how much, you know, aminos and stuff that I eat. So I just put glutamine in my food first thing in the morning. So glyco-HD is just like a glycogen support. So since I'm doing carbs first thing in the morning now, I really want to keep my blood sugar as kind of stable as possible, so I don't have a spike in my insulin and being very, very hungry. If you've been on my channel before, you heard me, like I used to never eat carbs in the morning just for that purpose, because I started being very, very hungry if I started with carbs in the morning. But that's been helping me a lot to curb those cravings, and also just burn more fat. Yeah, tiny bit of baking powder. I think that's too much. Just a tiny little bit right here. Put some salt. So funny story. When I met Sean, he would never salt his food. Like, he was the old school bodybuilder. And I think, you know what? Like, I think it's still a thing around. People think we're still not doing salt, not doing spices, and we cook our food only in water, like no oil, which is absolutely not the case for me. But when I actually met Sean, he was the anti-salt person. He was like, Miss Dash occasionally, and I was like, food without salt is just no food. So been incorporating salt in his food, and it's just, one, is very good for your muscle, like recovery, having enough electrolytes in your body for your muscle recovery, and also your pump at the gym makes such a difference, and just like food in general, you know. So we have everything. I'm actually gonna put my cinnamon after that, so we're just gonna close that real quick. I think the best thing when you cook is actually a stove with gas. I've been loving it. You have a huge freedom when it comes to dry spices when you actually train in bodybuilding. So like, I have the one that I use like mostly all the time, you know, like my salt, everything but the bagel, Montreal steak is mostly for Sean. But I also have like all these like flavor gut. This one on fish is just the bomb. I also have some salt free. This one is actually for my salad. I'm gonna show you guys all that, but just don't be shy of the spices. Always make sure though, like sometimes there's actually sugar in it, so be careful. But an actual mix of herbs adds so much flavor to your chicken, and actually do like many of them together. Sprinkle my cinnamon. And while this is cooking, I'm kind of putting the fire down. While this is cooking, I'm gonna start the rice. Pull out the rice cooker. This is like the easiest tool, and you need that tool in your life. God, I can tell you so many stories about Sean, because like I feel like he's been doing that for so much longer than I was. And when I met him, he was doing only like Uncle Ben package, and I was like, you need a rice cooker. One, it's so much better, and second of all, you can do so much more and just keep it in the fridge, you know. Like coffee to hit my blood. I really need it. Okay, right here, cup number 1, cup number 2, and you want to add 3 cups of cold water. And you want to add your salt before you actually cook it. That makes a huge difference too. A little bit of salt. And actually, I don't know if I have a garlic clove. So I'm actually just gonna throw a garlic in it. Just, okay, here. I wanna do here. See? Ta-da! So you just want to press on your garlic and then throw it, close it, get this baby started. Alright, so next we're actually going to keep this one closed. So next on the list is going to be my boiled chicken, the shredded chicken that everybody's been asking me for. So normally you can use actual Presto or you can actually use a slow cooker. I think that probably is the best, but I just want to show you also you can do it just on the regular stove with some good old boiling water in a pot. So I'm gonna do that right now. Also a good tip for you guys, I feel like it applies to all the meats. If you can, put your meat out of the fridge and just leave it to room temperature for a little bit, at least like 15 minutes or so. It does make such a difference. So when it goes in the pan or it goes in the air fryer or whatever you're using in this stove or whatever, well, it actually doesn't go from 30 degrees to very hot right away, and then you have a hard time to like cook it in the middle, and just the temperature is going to be off. If you bring your meat out just for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, it makes such a difference. So right now my pancake is ready to turn around. When you start seeing those little bubbles, that's when it's ready. And I'm going to close. That's gonna be my water for my chicken. Gonna add some salt. Gonna add the little garlic. And gonna wait for that to boil. So next on the list is gonna be Sean's breakfast. So right now, he's been eating like a bagel morning sandwich. I've been loving making that to him. So it consists of like eggs and bagel and also meat. So some turkey, cheese, beef, pastrami. You can have whatever you like. Some eggs and that's ready for me. Breakfast is served. Have that with my coffee. Cheers. I want to do 2 packs of stevia, but I think you could put 4. Would be sweeter. Tip number 1, you actually want to find the bagel with the smallest hole in it, so the toppings don't go out. All the good stuff, you know, it's everywhere, but it's gonna be everywhere. If you don't want to stop living and still do the sport for a long time, one, you can't expect people to eat like you do, and I just think it wouldn't be fair to the people that you're close with. To, you know, prevent them from eating, and for me to actually cook stuff and being so close and actually like touch it, like smell it, it just makes me feel kind of normal. And it also, I feel that it also helped with not wanting to binge. Because if you restrict yourself and you go into that restriction mode where you actually see, oh, this is bad food, I'm not gonna buy it, I'm not gonna touch it, like it's, you know, you stay away from it. The longer you stay away from it, the more you're gonna build that kind of resentment where it's like one day you're just gonna crack and start buying everything and just eat everything out of your way. So that's my opinion on that. Everybody deals with you know, how they stay on track differently, but I've been, you know, in a household of my two brothers who eats like, if people think I eat, like imagine time 10 the food that I can consume, that's my brothers. Like, and they eat good food all the time because they actually can, because they're like ectomorph and they just can eat good food all the time and in good quantity. So, all right, so the egg is gonna be almost ready. You, like, everything has to be hot and ready, like, at the same time. So, I put the bagel first, kind of like toast it. I'm leaving it in the pan so it stays hot. Then I'm gonna add the meat last in the pan. Add the meat. I'm gonna give it a turn. Cheese on it. That's gonna be enough. I'm gonna start assembling. So bagel, the egg. Actually, let's do the opposite. So like this. Here, the egg. And you want to add the meat. Drop the fire to 0. I get so focused, like, I think I'm just as focused when I cook than I train. I think, you know, I've been to school after I got my degree in marketing, business marketing. Like I started my major in engineering, logistic engineering. But I think now if I would go back to school, you know, like if I wouldn't compete, I would probably go to like culinary school. That's how much I love to cook and just learn about it, like some new tricks. And I would be more of a, how do you call these, like cooks that just cook very basic food, but just to the best of their ability. So like bringing the best out of like an egg, like how to cook the perfect egg, or like how to cook the perfect steak, how to cook the perfect chicken, the perfect fish. So that would be my style of cooking. Ooh. You want to get the one with the skin, because it really gonna keep so much flavor, and when you actually cook it, I'm sure there's no skin on it. Is there? Oh yes. Okay, perfect. So so yeah, when the skin is actually gonna stay on the paper, so you don't want, I don't put any oil on the actual, that's probably the worst thing if I could have knife is also a big thing in cooking. I have like one very good knife that I use. Oh my god, I'm gonna use scissors. I'm officially a bodybuilder. Scissors is gonna be your best friend too. So, good piece of song. I'm not gonna cook all of it, just a bit. Put some salt. It looks like it's a lot, but it's a lot of meat too. You have to like, you know how thick that is. That. So that flavor. And I'm gonna put that baby right in here at 390 for, I would say, about 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Good. That is boiling over there. So, some good old chicken breast, nothing fancy. And it's gonna be that easy, fam. Right here, chicken breast. Hopefully that's gonna be done before the video is over. That's gonna be the goal. So, gonna let that boil. Gonna keep that for later. So I actually I would like for you to repeat what you just told me. Yes, you do it. Okay, so Tim is shy and won't repeat what he just said. So basically, he just told me he was starting dieting, and he started like noticing changes and what's not. And yesterday, some guy came to him and he was like, "Here's some cookies, you know, just try them. It's just only one bite. It doesn't matter." And he was like, "No, no, no." And he was like, "No, you have to try it." And Tim was like, it kind of got me mad and upset. And I remember when I first started dieting, I was a skinny kid, you know, like it, and then you start like bringing your Tupperwares, like everywhere you go, and people start asking questions of like what you eat always the same thing all the time, how come you eat chicken at 10 a.m. in the morning, and all these comments on food. Is just, you become very introvert about it. And I think for me as a young woman who's just trying to figure out who I was back then, it was such a challenging part of my life. And that's probably why I'm so introvert and just very like a writing solo, like lone wolf kind of vibe, just because I fought against all the stereotypes, like you're skinny, like you don't need to diet, you don't need to have goals. And then I've never found the best way to explain to people like I'm an athlete, that's how I have to eat, until I became a pro. Like it was like, okay, now that I'm a pro, I can diet, I can do whatever I want. But before that, you guys like couldn't see further away from, you know, like I was telling you what my goals were, but they were like kind of demolishing it, you know, kind of being negative about it. And I feel that every person have the right to start something, and we all have to respect it. If like I never, you know, gave comment to my coworkers or like my friends at school because they were eating XYZ. So I never kind of understood the animosity towards someone who's trying to do good for themselves. So if you're going through that right now, like trying to struggle and trying to explain to your parents or trying to explain to your friends and they just don't understand, just stick to your goals and bet on yourself. And if it makes you kind of upset, just try to, you know, explain to them what it is. And if they still don't understand, you just go by your day, and you have to keep pushing. Because then if I would have listened to all these people that just were trying to like demolishing like my meals, telling me like, I remember like I used to hide at school. I used to like go into the bathroom at work and just eat my chicken in like 2 minutes and make sure that I put it in a small bowl so I could put it in my pocket, and go in the bathroom and just eat my meals so nobody disturbed me and just nobody you know, tells comment. I don't deal well with comment. I'm very like emotional, like I'm very sensitive, I think. So yeah, I've been growing up fighting against waves of just going against all odds and being different, and you don't want to be different when you're young. You just don't want to be that person. And you know, and I mean, now it brings me up to today where if I go somewhere, people kind of expect that I eat healthy, which is like so weird because it's like, oh, okay, now I earn you guys respect because I have a certain physique, which is not fair because when I first started it, you know, I was skinny and I didn't have, like, it's like, you're skinny, you shouldn't diet. You're this, you shouldn't do something else. So just figure what's best for you and just stick to it and just believe in yourself and don't let yourself down and don't let anyone tells you what to do because they believe it's best for you. So let's get back to the cooking. All right, so we got some chicken right here. That chicken is from Route 66. It's a good, I don't want to say grass-fed because it's probably not grass-fed. I don't think grass-fed chicken exists, but it's some good chicken. So they pre-diced it, put it in the freezer. That's just unfrozen chicken. And what I want to do is actually, I'm going to rinse my chicken. Because you got to eat clean, you know. So you rinse your chicken. No, just kidding. So like you rinse your chicken just to take off, like I feel this kind of, people are going to know what I'm talking about. Like the kind of jelly-ish that's going on around chicken. Kind of want to leave it like that. And a tip for you, like this chicken is already like diced and really good, but if you want your chicken to be very, very tender, you put it out of the fridge. Then you soak it in water like that, just like room temperature water, and you put some salt in it and just a tad bit of baking soda. So when I used to work at the restaurant, it was a Thai restaurant, and we used to do like all these like chicken recipe, and that's what they would do. They just in a big, you know, bowl like that, just soak the chicken in. So I'm gonna place my chicken on that tray right here, and just pat it dry. So you don't wanna. So I'm looking to. I'm gonna cook that chicken in the pan. And I want that, you know, that yellowish, like brownish color, roasted color that I just love on my chicken. So you want to make sure that your chicken is dry and it won't boil in the pan. So spread that on the tray. So if I don't do the veggie mix, which is like onion with bell pepper and mushroom that I'm going to show you guys later how to do it, I'm doing a salad. And now you're probably asking like, but what do you put on your salad? So I always use a base of mustard, spices, and then white vinegar or the apple cider vinegar. So keyword mustard. All right, so this is part of the collection. Here is my collection of mustard. Mustard is such an underestimated condiment. Very low calories and just such a fun way to add flavor to your food. One, get a pan big enough. Don't put too much meat that it goes on top of each other. Second of all, bring your pan so hot before putting the meat because that's what you want to hear. This is the rule number 3, don't stir around. Stir. Don't stir around. So I'm gonna leave the chicken over here. Just gonna add some spices some little pepper, some salt, today gonna add some little garlic and herb seasoning, something basic because I'm gonna eat some, but also Sean is gonna eat some, and that pizza seasoning from Flavor God, just little paprika. So in that one there's garlic, paprika, black pepper, basil, coriander, oregano, and parsley. So totally legit. I'm gonna let that cook for a second. Here's my mustard game. I feel that I should probably get better at it, but mustard is such a good, great condiment. I keep it on prep almost like up to peak week, to be honest. Most of them have 5 calories, like all these mustard have 5 calories. This one 10 for 1 tablespoon, right? So you can actually make it more watery with this right here, or even water. Like at one point I used to use water, so I would use 1 tablespoon of this, a little bit of that, and then my salad I usually mix it up with like vegetables, seasoning, some tahini, and just whatever you feel like, and then you make that little vinaigrette of yours and you have a vinaigrette. Very legit and very, very flavorful. Again, don't underestimate your spices game. Like, you can go ham on your spices without any problem. And also mustard, a very good recipe that I used to make. You can actually marinate your chicken in it, and because of the salt, the sodium that's in the mustard, it makes your chicken so tender and so delicious. I would use some Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, and then just leave it overnight, and then you cook it in the pan. Delicious, delicious, delicious. There's actually water that's coming out of the chicken because I didn't, you know, pat dry it completely. It's going to be fine because it's probably going to evaporate, so no problem at all. And I still want to chase that, you know, colored chicken. So just going to make sure that my fire is still high enough. You know. So right now inside is pretty cooked. So you can start separating your chicken. So I just, you know, here, just kind of separate it. So it's gonna cook faster. And the fact that it's gonna keep cooking with you shredding it right away, it's going to be very, very tender. So I'm gonna let that cook again. I can see why people want to change and have variety in their food. I can see that. And good for them if they're able to track and everything, but not all food are created equal, if that makes sense, in a way where your digestion is going to be different. So when I eat, for example, chicken, or I eat, technically it would be the same amount of tuna to get the same protein, or just like another lean meat, but I don't process it the same. So, you know, my body doesn't like it as much, if that makes sense. So normally my protein of choice is chicken. I love some good salmon if I have like a fatty fish. Flank steak is another one of them that I digest pretty well. I like eggs. Whey protein is actually upsetting my stomach sometimes. I have to be like very careful with the brand that I use. Other than that, carb of choice, white rice all the time, jasmine. Normally I love some Calrose rice. This one is like a little bit like bulkier. Is the one that you find in sushi with that, with like coconut oil and salt, is so good. And I love sweet potato, but it won't be like my carb of choice if I had, you know, choice too. Same thing with white potato, it just makes me like pretty like bloated. So I always stick to rice, oatmeal in the morning. And then fat wise, I love to go on a more like fatty meat instead of like adding avocado. Like I used to eat avocado, I just cut out of my diet because I don't digest it pretty well. And yeah, you just figure it out what makes you feel good, because I want to be performing at the gym. So if I eat something that just messes my stomach, well, I can't be performing in my cardio or in my workout. So you just have to find what works best for you. But technically, if I have one suggestion when it comes to dieting food and just making the right choices, just go with the less ingredient possible. So I go with like the one ingredient rule kind of thing. So see, chicken is chicken, right? If you eat sweet potato, it's sweet potato. If you eat rice, it's one ingredient or less. So if you go by that rule, it makes it very easier. And also, second tip for you, if you're at events or like Thanksgiving is coming up, and all these holidays are coming up, and you have all these tasty food around you, go jump into your protein first. So what normally happens is that people is gonna like snack on chips and then snack on guacamole, and that's carbs and fat in a good amount. And when you're very, very hungry, you're gonna snack on those chips, you're gonna finish the bowl, and when the meat is gonna come, when the turkey is gonna come, well, you're not gonna be hungry anymore. So then you're lacking protein and you're full and filled from high amount of fat and high amount of carbs. But honestly, I don't want to tell you guys like not to enjoy the good food of Thanksgiving. Just try to be kind of mindful of what you eat first, and it's just going to help you to just make the right choices. So start with your protein, then add your carbs, and if you're not full and you feel comfortable, just eat that little dessert or eat it later. But yeah, just make the right choices. It's easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. I feel that people complicate things a lot where there's really no need to complicate it. And if you're able to make it enjoyable by cooking it the right way or with the right spices, I honestly look forward to my meals just as much as I would look to a burger. So I don't really have to deal with any craving or what's not.
Right.
So mushroom rules, again, a hot pan. Don't put oil on your pan. If you have a anti-adhesive, I think that's how you say it, pan, take the most out of it and just don't put oil on it. And just, I like to crush my mushrooms in it. I don't track my vegetables. That's also something else that people were asking. Of course, I'm trying to be like mindful, and I know that eating a lot of them is gonna add up on my calories intake at the end of the day. But honestly, right now, 5 weeks out, I don't track my veggies. So I eat almost as much as I want. Always trying to be mindful to stay comfortable, because too much fibers and too much volume in your stomach is just sometimes add a lot. But it's definitely helpful for someone who's hungry like me all the time. It helps you. So eat your veggies. Lettuce, cucumbers. I've been on celery stick lately, very good. Bell pepper, onion. Do some like medley, zucchini. Do some medley that you actually enjoy and just like spread it out on your meals. I think that boiled chicken is done. And so as far as packing food for traveling, I always get a lot of questions. So we're going to Pittsburgh for 3 days. So what I'm gonna do is, since I don't really know my quantities of food because I check in every day with James now, and my diet changed almost every day, I'm going to pack everything into big Ziploc bags, bring my scale with me, and then I'm just gonna have the big Ziploc bag, and just in the morning kind of put it in my Tupperware or put it in my Ziploc bag and just bring it with me wherever I go. So it's honestly pretty easy. You don't have to like think about it too much. And what I like to do for ice purpose is you can't bring the ice pack in the plane. I love to use like a rice pack, you know, those like Uncle Ben's rice pack. You put it in the freezer before, or I would probably actually froze my entire rice bag that I just did. The rice is ready, by the way. So rice is ready. You can actually take that out and or crush it. Yeah. The garlic, you can actually like crush it. It's so good. We got some fluffy rice. See? Beautiful. So if you want to prevent your cutting board from moving, you just put a towel underneath. And it's going to prevent from moving. And then you can just...
I didn't know that. I'm gonna start using that.
Some little... So I work in restaurants as a waitress. I work as a bus girl. I've worked also, my first job was actually in a kitchen for Dickens. So but there was over 70 Dickens staying in a school, and I would start working at 7 in the morning and finish at 7. So I would do, you know, breakfast for them. I would make lunch and then dinner. I was doing that while I started like at 15 years old, and I left, I was maybe, I think like 18 or something, working every weekend. This shredded chicken recipe is key for volume because it's so light. That's probably like one meal for me. It looks like a lot, but it's actually like 140 grams. And I just love it because you can actually eat it cold. You can eat it. I think that shredded chicken is a good solution to eat it cold, if you have to eat it cold. And since we're traveling, I might be in a plane. Since we're traveling, I might be in a plane or just somewhere that doesn't have a microwave, and I want to be able to just eat and enjoy my meal in like a salad, or just eating like right off the bag, which happens sometimes when you're an athlete and just have to get your meals in. And boiled chicken is my favorite for that because you can sprinkle on your salad or just eat it right off the bag. Like if I ate that frozen, so I know it's good. And from there right now, like there's no really spices or anything. So on my shredded chicken, I personally love some adobo seasoning. So this one is very high in sodium, so I'm going to be careful with that. And just kind of mix it up. And there you have it. So mushrooms, some rice, shredded chicken, fried pan chicken, and some salmon right here. So that's it for the kitchen episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this kitchen haul. It's now 10:38. So honestly, considering that I've made Sean's breakfast, my breakfast, ate my breakfast, drank my coffee, chilled, chit chat, did about, you know, pretty much a 4-day worth of meal prep. It doesn't look like it, but it is. In under an hour while filming, I think that's a check in the book, meaning that you guys, if you're prepping ahead, it would save you so much time. So like prep for like 3 to 4 days and just go in bulk, you know, just cook all your protein, put it in Tupperware, put your veggies, put it in a Tupperware, put your rice in a Tupperware, and just go by your day and have it ready to go. It's such a key to being ready, you know, ready for success. And I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks to make your food better. And again, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. It's always so appreciated. And see you guys.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, so we're actually talking about food, of course, off camera, and Tim was talking to me about rice, and we were both talking how rice is kind of our trigger food, and he was like, have you ever had mango with rice? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm craving fruit so much, and mango has to be my favorite fruit of all time. And I actually have a trick that I want to show him, because it's gonna kind of, I don't know, when I did it the first time, Sean was just like, because, wait, hold on 1 second, because it's so hard to get all the mango, like all of it. Wait, hold on. That was supposed to be so smooth. Hold on. Okay, you know what? Okay, you cut a piece of mango right here. And what you do is you grab a glass. Trial number 2. Trial number 2. Not bad, right?